Hi, this is Monica Bramlett, and in this video we are going to be talking about strategies for multiplying by 10. When we talk about multiplying by 10, we can tie this closely to our place value knowledge that we've explored through first and second and third grade. So looking at our number system is comprised of digits, and these digits come together to make our numbers. So our digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're going to look at what these look like. Okay, so this right here is our unit piece. This is because we're saying this represents 1, which makes it a unit. Okay, so when we first start, we're not going to put 1 over in 0 because 0 means nothing. So 1 looks like this. Okay, so we're going to continue to build the numbers up through 9. We're going to move through this rather quickly. So now that we see what each of these look like in unit form, let's go ahead and talk about what happens when we move to the digit 10. So when we move to the digit 10, we start using 2 digits. So we have to use our 1 and our 0. And so in place value, when we get to where we have 10 ones, such as if I take this and put it with my 9, I can actually take these and exchange them for a unit called a 10. Changing it for a 10 helps us condense these single units into a larger unit that has the same value. So when I'm looking at a place value chart, I have the tens place and the ones place, and only 1 digit can fit in each of these places. So I cannot combine 2 digits in a place. Like for example, when I'm writing my number in standard form, I can say that there are 10 ones because there are 10 ones there. However, there is a 0 in the ones place, and we have a 110. So you can see that right here, 110. Okay, so now we're going to look at how we can use this as a strategy when multiplying by 10. Okay, so for this example, we are going to look at 3 groups of 10. I'm starting with 3 groups. Okay, so I'm thinking about a 3 in the ones place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building these groups of 10. Okay, so here's one group of 10. Okay, now we have 2 groups of 10. And lastly, here's our 3rd group of 10. So what we're going to talk about is that we can use the 10 from earlier that we talked about, how we can condense 10 of these ones into a 10 struct, and we are going to exchange it. So here is 110. Two 10s and 3 10s. So we know that 3 groups of 10 is going to be equal to 30. So let's look at what happens on our place value chart. I went from a 3 in the ones place to the 3 is now in the tens place, and I have 0 loose ones. So I can use this when I'm building a strategy for multiplying by 10, because 3 groups of 10 is the same thing as 3 times 10. Let's look at this using 7 groups of 10. Okay, so I'm going to move on from using these individual units to I'm now going to use numbers. Okay, so I'm going to build my 7 groups. Okay, so here I have 7 groups. Okay, so that's 7 as a 1. Okay, but now what I'm going to do, instead of making these worth 1, I'm going to place 10 in each group. And that gives me a total of 70. So we can see that now we have 7 10s and 0 loose 1s. That means that 7 times 10 is equal to 70. So I want you to look at this and think about what is a way that we could use this pattern that we see here to help us multiply by 10. We could use this pattern by noticing in the examples that we did, we started with 3 and then we moved to 30. We started with 7, we moved to 70. So we see that digit represented in the tens place. So our strategy for multiplying by 10 could simply be taking the number. So for example, 5. Let's look at a place value chart. And shifting the digit to the tens place and placing a 0 in the ones place. So we have 50. I want you to think about for 6 times 10, what that might look like. So our strategy is move the 6 to the tens place and place a 0 in the ones place. One misconception that we need to be very careful about is we do not say we add a 0. So like for example, when we did this, if I said we added a 0, well 6 plus 0 remains 6. What we're doing is we're placing a 0 behind the 6, and that is actually moving this digit to the tens, and now providing that we have 0 ones. Let's apply this to a different number. Okay, let's say I had 12 groups of 10. Use that strategy to determine what our answer could be. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to check. We have a digit in the tens place right now and a digit in the ones place. But if we keep using our strategy, what we're going to do is we're going to shift the digit in the tens up 1 place, shift the digit in the ones to the tens place, and then we are going to place a 0 in the ones place, so we get a product of 120. So we had 12, we placed a 0 behind that 12 to get 120. We didn't add the 0, we placed it. And we shifted these 2 digits, shifted 1 place to the left. One thing that we also have to be careful here is that sometimes people make the mistake of not shifting the digit in the ones place. So then they end up with an answer of 102. However, if we did that, if we did not shift, we're not actually making this 10 times bigger. It's staying the same size. So we have to be careful to make sure that we move both digits as we're using this strategy. Okay, so in this video, we talked about how place value relates to our understanding and how we can use the strategy of placing a 0 behind the digit when multiplying by 10.